Hundreds of the faithful stood reverently in front of large television screens on St. Peter's Square on a chilly evening to be close by as Pope Benedict led his final scheduled Mass inside the Basilica, marking Ash Wednesday.
Per me è un'occasione propizia per ringraziare tutti.
The Pope thanked all those who helped him during his 8-year papacy and asked them to pray for him. The retirement of the 85-year-old pontiff, a German-born theological conservative, opens the way for church leaders to move toward reforms that many of the faithful would like to see. Such issues include the pedophilia scandal, birth control, tolerance for homosexuals, and the role of women. But that will largely be up to his successor, who may have been among the dozens of cardinals who attended Wednesday's Mass. But veteran reporter Sean Patrick Lovett of Vatican Radio warns against expecting any dramatic changes.
The Catholic Church is not about change. It's not a democracy. It's about continuity. And doctrine is very unlikely to change, no matter who becomes Pope.
One high priority for any new pope will have to be the scandal over sexual abuse by priests. But Lovett says the current pope's official apology and new guidelines are about as much as can be done.
I'm sure the next pope will continue to meet with victims, will continue to make sure that these policies are set in place and ensure that none of this ever happens again.
Still, some people think the new pope will have to do more, including Vatican correspondent Alessandro Speciale of the Religion News Service.
You will have to tackle the sex abuse crisis head-on, and you will have to do it proactively before the crisis erupts.
Speciale says preventing further abuse is particularly important for the Church's main growth areas, Africa and Latin America. Some observers believe the next pope may come from one of those areas, but Speciale says even that would not necessarily signal major policy changes.
The symbolic value of an African pope would be unimaginable, but how different in terms of policies and approach, that would depend on who exactly this pope is.
People visiting the Vatican in the days after the first papal resignation in nearly 600 years were not expecting big policy changes, but were open to the idea of a Southern Hemisphere pope.
It doesn't matter where you're from. It's all about your faith and your commitment to the job.
I think it will open the eyes of the people, especially in the Western world and the developed world, into what's going on in the countries of the Third World.
It's a rare moment for Catholics to be able to say farewell to a pope and to contemplate the future without the sadness of a pope's death. It will also be rare for a new pope, whatever he plans to do, to feel his predecessor's presence quite so strongly. Al Pessin, VOA News, Rome.